And Chief, I think you made a remarkable point that we forget about. These men and women are serving and protecting our community. And they have children and spouses and significant others just like we do. And they also need a period of time to be able to be human in the midst of a crisis. So thank you for bringing up that very important point that we are human beings. Thank you for the
I have a question as well.
Yes, sir.
Just concerning the overall relationship that the Orlando Police Department has with the people of Orlando, especially the black community, which is, as you know, becoming an increasingly significant issue in the wake of what happened in Ferguson with Mike Brown and Eric Dorner in New York City. In fact, these types of cases have forced the U.S. government on its highest levels. The Federal Bureau of Investigation just issued a report stating that twice a week, a black person is murdered by a white cop throughout the United States of America. And they say, this is from the FBI, that report is based on only 5% of data retrieved by local police departments throughout the country, meaning that another 95% of all the local police departments throughout the country failed or refused to submit the data to the FBI, or the FBI decided for whatever reason to not include 95% of the data that they were given. But either way, I think that it's really important to say that well over 40, 50, or 60 black people are murdered in this country by a white cop, and that's not even including black cops and other nationalities who murder, brutalize, and do terrible things to African people in this country on a regular basis. So I think it's important to say that we are well beyond a situation where there's, just a bad apple that's giving the rest of the police bad reputation. It's clear that we're looking at a systematic relationship that the police have with black people. And based on what I've been taught in the schools that y'all made us go to, what we see the police doing to black people in this country is strikingly similar to what the U.S. Marines are doing right now in Afghanistan or in Iraq. But I have a question. One, did the Orlando Police Department submit the data that it was responsible for in terms of how many African people that you yourselves are responsible for in terms of murder of black people?
To give them an opportunity to answer one question.
That's one question.
1 second.
But the other question I have...
Okay, let's do one at a time to be fair. Chief, can you tell us whether or not the Orlando Police Department submitted the inquiry from the FBI or federal government agencies about the number of police shootings that happened in the last year?
Absolutely. We submit all information that we are required to submit. And I think the Orlando Police Department has shown that we are very transparent. And I would like to say that this is not Ferguson, this is not New York, this is Orlando. And I think just by seeing the people here on the panel, you can see that this community here works together. We all have relationships. Cram Riley from the NAACP, he can pick up his cell phone and call my cell phone anytime he wants, and vice versa. And we all have relationships here, and that's absolutely the truth, that we do report all our information to the FBI and to the state.
Okay, and then I'm going to let you ask your second question, and then I'm going to move on a little bit because we want to make sure we can include everybody. So I'm going to let you ask your second question, and then we're going to move forward a little bit, and then hopefully we'll have enough time at the end to make sure that we have everybody's questions.
Yeah, well, the second question is dealing with a particular case in Orlando right now.
Okay, so let me help you out. We can't talk about particular cases because one of the things that we opened with is that if there are ongoing investigations, they are not able to comment. So that is something that, as a moderator, I am going to help us filter out.
Well, I mean, there's been a whole lot of comments made about this case in the media by the police.
I understand that.
But I'll just say this. Okay. I'm here alongside the family of TaVon Grayson, who was one of the many victims of vicious police terror, police violence. In this particular instance, it happened downtown Orlando, which is...
So let me again interrupt you. respectfully,
You keep on interrupting me.
I have to,
That's
as
not
a
too
moderator,
respectful.
and here's why. Because if it's an open, active case, they are not going to be able to
Well, this brother right now, he has at least 8 bullet wounds in his body. He's sitting in the Orlando County Jail right now, has not received any medical attention after the so-called surgery to remove the bullets. He's still sitting in the Orlando County Jail without any medical attention. They're saying that the reason why they're denying bail is because of the so-called Anti-Murder Act that says, you know, if the suspect is a threat to the regular community, he can't even stand up. He can't even stand up and go to the bathroom. But what I'm saying is that there's a cover-up happening right now in the city of Orlando around this case. And this family deserves answers in terms of why it is after 3 months after being shot at least 8 times, he is still sitting in a jail and hasn't gotten any real productive response from this Orlando police.
Sir, let me.
So we want to really raise awareness around the question of TaVon Grayson, and we want to call on this community to participate in a real democratic and transparent process through which the interests of our
community. I did want to say to the family that please reach out to my office. I will personally meet with you, and I will explain anything that I can explain to you at that time. But reach out to my office, and I will sit down and meet with you.
And I think that that's an awesome move in the right direction, because I do want us to be mindful that if it is an open and active investigation or case, they cannot, in a public forum, comment on it. So let me go to some other questions. So
one last
with that being, sir, please, in the interest of time, I think they're giving you the information for the chief so that we can get you in touch with him, and I think that's a very generous offer and a step in the right direction, so thank you. I want to go to Deputy Chief Deputy Chief Smith for a moment, because I do believe that this kind of helps us transition into another important topic, and that is trying to make sure that police encounters, so I'm picking out things that I think are very important and what he was bringing up that we can talk about. And one of those things is that there is a perception sometimes that police encounters are biased. And of course, we hear people all the time talk about the Fourth Amendment rights, which are search and seizure. I teach, and I know several of you have been to the academy with me, and we spend more time on the Fourth Amendment rights to stop and search and what you can and can't do. Can you help us, Deputy Chief Smith, first tell us where you're assigned, and then I want you to tell us what, as a police department, are you doing to address some of those perceptions about people's rights in terms of searches, in terms of being stopped? Because I think he's bringing up a good point, and these are points we can talk about in this open forum.
Okay, I'm Deputy Chief Eric Smith. I'm the Bureau Commander for the downtown area. I've also had special operations in the airport division. A lot of what we're talking about is encounters with police.